Hello, sirs and madams. I'm late, I know. Life's been a roller coaster for the second half of 2021. And let me just point out that it wasn't pretty. Anyway, I do sometimes feel obligated to tell you what's been going on for the better part of 6 months, even though I shouldn't. But to make a long story short, I left my job, broke up with my fiancée, and I have been descending into a bottomless pit of pain and misery. Simply put, this meme sums up the past 6 months of my life in a nutshell. Anyways, you're not here to know about my problems. We are here to talk about cars, because of course we are. This is Grand Theft Auto, for God's sake. So, the cars, some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them are questionable, and some of them, absolutely, disappoint. Let's start with the good. First up we have the Mammoth Patriot Smell Spec. And let me tell you, this I'm actually a fan of. In my opinion, I think that the Hummer H1 is the coolest looking off-roader of the 21st century. Also the fact that this one wasn't actually made for show, unlike the H2 and the H3, makes it all more appealing to me. However, its only downside is the fact that they are a bit of a black smoke chimneys, but I still think they're pretty cool. Even in this game, this car is actually one of the best off-roaders. And the evidence to how much I like this car, that I might have actually bought another one in my other garage. Yeah, I like it enough to buy it twice. Crazy, isn't it? Next up, we have the Buffalo STXR, which is kind of ironic because if you know anything about the latest Dodge Chargers, is that the base version is called the SXT, and this one has a V6 in it. But don't worry, I can confirm that the one in the game does not sound like a V6 at all. And unlike the regular Buffalo and the Buffalo S, this one is in the muscle class, and it is one of the fastest muscle cars in the game, because it's actually a jack of all trades. It is competitive, it also have access to iMan's tech, it has 4 doors and have space for 4 people, and it's one of the fastest muscle cars in the game, and the cherry on the top is how good this car looks in car meets, or cruising down the streets of Los Santos. Next up we have the Fist Rostron, and before we talk about it, I'd like to show you something. I happen to have a picture of both the Porsche Cayenne and the Porsche Macan parked next to one another, so I would like you to take a moment of your time, take a look at the picture, and tell me which one is which. Because I genuinely cannot. They are exactly the same, they are basically identical twins. But anyway, I'm not really a fan of how this car look, because who would want a car that looks like a pregnant Porsche? But the reason why I consider this car to be good, first is because it has access to iMan's tech, and is because I believe this car is a better value than the Lamborghini Urus, especially given the fact that they're both made by the same company, Volkswagen. Moving on to these two, I know I said these cars are kind of bad. But I might have cheated that one because in the game they're not actually that bad. But the reason why I consider them to be bad at all, is due to their status in real life, since they depreciate as fast as they sell, maybe even faster. And this is down to the fact that the people who buy these cars, they sell them back once they get a taste of how much their maintenance cost over time, which can be more than what the car is worth over the time. So basically these car makers are like AAA game developers, who make games and charge $60 for it, and somehow they add in the game store that sells microtransactions, DLCs, Game Pass, Season Pass, and all of that shite, expecting you to spend more than $60 in-game, which backfires immediately and have the people refund the game, or give it a bad review. However, in the game, they're kind of different story. For example, this car right here, is called the Cinquemila, and is one of the fastest sedans in the game, which is kinda refreshing. The other one over here, the Anus Deity, I cannot believe that I said that out loud. While not as fast as the Cinquemila, it has access to iMan's tech, while maintaining a luxurious look. Next up is these two questionable vehicles. Let me get the comment out of the way quickly. So I already have the regular version in my auto shop, and they're basically the same car, and, with no difference whatsoever, which begs the question, Why even make a new car when you can just add an option to replace the roof with a retractable roof? And yes, I know the 9F is like that since 2013, but I don't think that it is necessary in the meantime. But, I digress. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. This car is called the Anus Jubilee. My opinion can be a little bit controversial, but I believe that the Rolls-Royce Cullinan is one of the nicest and finest cars to both look at and sit in. There is no question about it. However, if this car was made to resemble the ultimate luxury SUV, they should at least have a nice new interior, which it doesn't, because if you come over here and look inside, you'll find that it looks very cheap and clumsy, something that you would only find in the most basic, bottom-of-the-barrel kind of cars, let alone a super luxury SUV, which is kind of disappointing, because I had so high expectations for this car in particular. Why, now that I have it, I can confidently say, my disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined. But wait, there is more. Moving into the more disappointing side of this update, the supercars, this one here the Pegassi Ignis, and this one there is the Duborci Champion. And straight up, they're not worth buying. Their looks are fine, but their price is over the roof, and their performance is absolute dog water. However, the Champion has access to iMani's tech, which unfortunately makes it the fastest and safest car for free roam. But seriously, don't even try to race this thing. However, you can get away with racing the Ignis, but, and pardon me for being a broken record at this point, the Duborci Wagner exist at almost half price. Also, don't pay full price for them, only buy them at a discount. Last but not least, the overfilled Zeno, and this is the worst offender so far. This car resembles the SSC Tuatara, which have been involved in rigging the world speed record for production cars. And to add salt to the wound, this car is one of the slowest supercars in the game. Not fun. Anyways, that has been a generally superficial review of the cars in the new update. Tune in the next video to watch the review of a completely different car that isn't in this update. Wait a minute, is that a base version Fiesta Comet? Yes, but why? Well, find out in the next video, but until next time, stay healthy, hydrated, and one love.